All right, Rules of the House of Representatives. Rule 22. House and Senate Relations. Senate Amendment. The motion to disagree with the Senate Amendment. The House proposition of the request to agree with the conference with the Senate. The motion to insist the House amends with the Senate with the proposition to the request agree to a conference with the Senate shall be privileged in the discretion of the Speaker, the author of the direction of the primary committee, of all of the reporting committees that had initial of the referral of the proposition. Motion to dispose of the House bill with the Senate amendments not requiring the consideration of the committee of the whole House on the state of the Union shall be privileged. Simply permitted by Clause 1 before the state of the disagreement, the Senate amendment of the House bill of the resolution shall be subject to the appointment of the order of the must be first considered of the committee of the whole House of the state of the Union. Originating in the House, it would be subject to appoint under Clause 3 of the Rule 18. When stated disagreement has been reached on the bill, resolution, House and Senate amendments, the motion to dispose of any of the amendments shall be privileged. 5. The manager's power of the House may not agree with the Senate amendment that described in paragraph B unless specific authority to agree with the amendment that first gave it into the House by a separate vote with respect thereto. The specific authority is not granted the Senate amendment that shall be reported the disagreement by the conference committee back to the two houses for the disposition of by separate motion. The manager of the power of the House may not agree with the Senate amendment that described in paragraph A that would violate Clause 2A1 or C of the Rule of the 21 originating in the House. Proposed operation on the bill other than the general operation bill. 6. A Senate amendment carrying a tax or a tariff measure violation Clause 5A of the Rule 21 may not be agreed to. Conference report amendments reported in the disagreement of the presentation conference report shall be in order any time except during the reading of the journal with the conduct of the record vote and vote decision, division, or a quorum call. B1. Subject to subparagraph 2, the time allotted with the debate with a motion with the instruct of the managers on part of the House should be equally divided between the majority and minority party of the proposed motion and the instruct of the manager part of the House for the member, the delegate, the resident commissioner of the other party identified in the subparagraph. Both as both support the motion 1/3 over the time of the debate thereon shall be allotted to the member, the delegate, the resident commissioner of the who oppose the motion demand over the member, the delegate, the resident commissioner. Motion with the instruct of the manager of the power of the House. A motion with the discharge all of the managers on power of the House to appoint the new conferees with the show of the privilege after the conference committee has been appointed for 45 calendar days, 25 legislative days without making a report, but only on the day after the calendar day in which the member, the delegate, the resident commissioner offering the motion of the and announce of the House intention to do so with the form of the motion. The Speaker shall designate with the time and of the legislative schedule with the legislative day with the consideration motion described in subparagraph 1. During the last 6 days of the session, congressional motion under subparagraph 1 shall be privileged after the conference committees has been appointed for 36 hours without making of the report. Proponent meets with the notice of the requirements of the subparagraph 1. Instructions to conferees of the motion to the instruct of may not include the argument. Each conference report House shall be printed with a report of the House. Each report shall be accompanied with a joint explanatory statement and prepared jointly by the managers on part of the House, the managers on part of the Senate. The joint explanatory statement speaks within in detail explicit to they inform the House of the fact of the report on the matters committed to the conference. 8A. Except as specified in subparagraph 2, the show will not be awarded with the conference report until the conference of the report with the company with the joint explanatory statements have been available to the member delegates and the resident commissioner for 72 hours in the congressional record pursuant to clause 3 of the Rule 29 and printed or electronic copies of the conference report with accompanying joint explanatory statement that have been available to the member delegates and the resident commissioner for at least 2 hours, and subparagraph 1A does not apply during the last 6 days of the session of the Congress. Except as specified in subparagraph 2, it shall not be awarded to consider the motion of the disposed of Senate amendment, the report of the disagreement with the conference committee until the report of disagreement and any of the accompanying statements have been available to member delegate resident commissioners for 72 hours congressional record pursuant to clause 3 of the Rule 29 and copies of the report of disagreement and any of the accompanying statement together with the text Senate amendment have been available to member delegates and the resident commissioner for at least 2 hours. So paragraph 180 does not apply during the least second days of the session of the Congress. 3. During consideration, second and Senate amendment, the report of the disagreement by a conference committee on a general operation bill, a motion to insist. The disagreement of the Senate amendment shall be referential to any other motion to dispose of the amendment if the original motion offered to the floor manager purposes to change existing law with the motion to insist is offered before the debate with the original motion with the chair of the committee having jurisdiction, subject matter amendment or designee such as a preferational motion shall be separately debatable for the 1 hour equally divided between its proponents of the proponent's original motion. The previous question shall be considered as ordered. Preferential motion is adoption without intervening motion. Conference report of the amendment report with the disagreement about the conference committee that has been available as provided in paragraph A or B shall be considered as read when called up. D1, subject to the subparagraph 2 of the time allotted for the debate on the conference report on the motion to dispose of the Senate amendment report with the disagreement about the conference committee shall be equally divided between the majority and minority party with the floor manager of the majority and floor manager of the minority both support with the conference report with the motion report on the motion 1/3 of the time of the debate thereon shall be allotted to the member to delegate the resident commissioner with the opposed the conference report with the motion on the demand of the member to delegate and resident commissioner. Under Clause 6A of the Rule 13, resolution proposing only to waive the requirement of the clause concerning the availability of reports of the member to delegate to the resident commissioner may be considered of the House on the same day as it was reported of the Committee on the Rules. Whenever a disagreement to an amendment has been committed to the conference committee with the managers on the part of the House may propose the substitute that is a germane modification of the matter of disagreement and the introduction of any of the language presenting specific additional matter not committed to the conference committee by either the House. It does not constitute a germane modification, matter and disagreement. Moreover, the conference report may not include matter not committed to the conference committee by either of the House. If it may not include modification of a specific matter committed to the conference committee by either House or both Houses, if it in modifications beyond scope of that specific matter as committed to the conference committee. A member delegate resident commissioner may raise the point of the order again with a non-germane matter of the specified in subparagraph 2 before the commencement of the debate on the conference report with the motion of the House received with the disagreement of the Senate amendment report with the disagreement by conference committee with the concur therein with or without amendment and the motion of the House proceeds from the disagreement of the Senate amendment on which state the disagreement has been reached and the concur therein with or without amendment. At the point of order again for the non-germane matter of the one insertion of the proposition described in subparagraph 1 contains the specified matter that would violate Clause 7 of Rule 16 if it were offered to the House as an amendment to the underlying measure in the form of which was passed by the House. If a point of order under paragraph A is sustained by the motion of the House is reject the non-germane matter identified by the point of order shall be privileged. Such a motion is debatable for 40 minutes, 1/2 in favor of the motion, 1/2 of the opposition thereto. After disposition of point of order under the paragraph A of the motion to reject under paragraph B with any other further points of order under the paragraph A not covered the previous point of the order, any consequential motions to reject under paragraph B shall be likewise to be disposed of. D1 and for the motion rejected under paragraph B with the adopted with after the disposition of all the points of the order under paragraph A, any consequent motions to reject under paragraph B with the conference report on the motion, the case may be, shall be considered rejected. The matter of the remaining of the disagreement shall be disposed of under subparagraphs 2 or 3 as the case may be. 2. After the House has adopted one or more motions to reject the non-germane matter contained in the conference report under the preceding provisions of this clause, A. If the conference report accompanied with the House measure amended by the Senate with a pending question shall be whether the House shall reside or concur on the Senate amendment with an amendment consisting of so with a bunch of the conference report as was not rejected, and if the conference report accompanied with the Senate measure amended by the House, the pending question shall be whether the House shall insist further on the House amendment. After the House has adopted one or more of the motion to reject the non-germane matter contained with the motion of the House received the concur in the Senate amendment with or without amendment, filling motion shall be privileged and shall be present in the order stated. The motion of the House proceeding and the concurring with the Senate amendment with the amendment in writing and available on the floor. The motion of the House insists on the disagreeing with the Senate amendment and the request for the conference for the Senate. A motion with the House insists on its disagreement of the Senate amendment if on the division of the question of the motion described in paragraph 1A, 1B, or C. House agrees to reside with a member to delegate the resident commissioner may raise the point of order against the non-germane matter as specified in paragraph A2 before the commencement with the debating on the concurring in the Senate amendment with or without amendment. A point of order under this paragraph shall be disposed of according to proceeding provisions of this clause same manner as a point of order under paragraph A. Okay, keep moving. It shall not be in order to consider the conference report with accompanying with a bill with a joint resolution for the purpose of the amendment of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 and the last of the joint explanatory statements for the manager with included tax complexity analysis prepared with the Joint Committee on the Taxation in accordance with the Section 4022B Internal Revenue Code of the Restructuring and Reform Act of 1998. And the Chairman of the Committee on the waive of the means for the code of the tax complexity analysis to be presented with the congressional record before consideration of the conference report. 12A. Subject to the subparagraph 2 of the meeting of each of the conference committee which shall be open to the public open session of the House. A motion of the manager's part of the House is permitted to close the public of the meeting. The meetings of the conference committee shall be privileged, shall be decided without debate, and shall be decided with the yeas or nays. And the conducting conference with the Senate with the managers on part of the House should be endeavored to ensure meetings of the resolution of the difference between the two houses occur only under circumstances in which every manager of the part of the House has notice of the meeting and a reasonable opportunity to attend. All the provisions on which the two houses agree of the considered as open to the discussion at any of the meeting of the conference of the committee, and the papers of the reflecting conference agreement are held inviolated to change without a renewal of the opportunity of all the managers on part of the House to reconsider their decision, sign or not to sign the agreement. Managers on part of the House shall be provided with a unitary template for the access of at least one complete copy of the final conference agreement for the purpose of recording their appropriate approval not with a financial conference agreement, placing their signatures or not on the sheet with a prepared accompanying the conference report with a joint explanatory statement with the managers and appointed with the order of the conference committee failed to comply with the paragraph A that may be to be raised immediately after the conference of the report with the read to the consider as read. If such of the point of order is sustained, conference report shall be considered as rejected. The House shall be considered to have insisted on its amendments on the disagreement to the Senate amendments, as the case may be, to have requested further conference with the Senate, and the Speaker may appoint the new conferees without intervening motion. (13) It shall not be in order to consider the conference report with the text which of the difference of any of the way other clerical with the text of the reflect of the action of the conferees, all of the differences between the two houses, the require of their placement of their signatures or not on the sheet prepared to the accompany with the conference report joint explanation statement of the managers. Rule 23, a code of official conduct.